Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad. My name is Austin,
And my name is Patrick.
and welcome to the show. Well, guys, it's great to be back this week and really productive weekend, Pat. Had a lot of players scoring goals, providing assists for their teams, just really putting in good performances over the weekend. And that bodes well going into camp,
Yeah, it
next
really
week.
does. Stat padding, Austin. Yeah, exactly. Right before camp, they're pretty much saying, "Hey, Triple G, don't forget about me." Terrible rhyme, by the way, but the players are all excited. It was a fantastic weekend.
I loved it, Pat. I really did. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I think it's it bodes well for us, right? With all these injuries that we have, we really need some more players to step up, and we got to rely on that depth that we've created over the past few years, and a lot of these young players just coming up and doing big things. So yeah, it was really positive to see this weekend, and we just hope things keep going well. This last weekend before camp, obviously we still have some injuries, right? Christian Pulisic injured. Gio Reyna injured. It sounds like Tyler Adams is now injured, which
Yeah,
is,
unfortunate.
all the more concerning. But, hoping those situations work themselves out. If we have to go without them, like I said, we've got depth now. So
Yeah, that's the key part, right? Depth, especially now that we're seeing some players really continue momentum or just pick up form, right, up front. I think that's a perfect segue to get started here, Austin, and talk about Pefok over in the Swiss
yes,
league.
sir.
Yeah, he's killing Austin. Raised his goal total to 9 across all competitions there. This past weekend, tallied right in the third minute early on. Usually he kind of saves it for his heroics for later in the games, but it's a nice goal there off a corner, just the right place, and a 2-1 win over St. Gallen there. Former Jonathan Klinsmann's team for a brief stint in
And
the Swiss Super League.
Kakutamane.
Oh, that's right.
Remember him back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, exactly. But yeah, and then even midweek, the last week, right on Wednesday, he found the net in the 67th minute in a 6-1 victory over Los Sport. I might be saying that incorrectly, but it was a pretty brutal beatdown there. But nonetheless, doesn't take away from Pefok being at the right place, right off a deflection there in the 6-yard box. And it's now 3 straight games, right? Starting from that amazing Manchester United Champions League goal. And he's just on a roll, Austin. It's fantastic to see, especially for our players up top.
Yeah, and there's definitely no one hotter in our pool right now. Like Pefok started the season so well, right? He's in such good form, really feeling that confidence. That goal against Manchester United was by far, his biggest goal in his career. And he's just riding that high, right? He started the season off strong. I'm really excited to see, him in camp again. I thought he looked okay, in September. And I'm excited to see if he can, carry this momentum with him over the next few
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, that's definitely the question there because he's a player also, and even you could see it with these games, right? Obviously, and people are joking on Twitter, right? He's one of the best, you could say, kind of poachers there within the 6-yard box.
True. Yeah, he's a
Just a
true poacher.
magnet. Yeah, a magnet to the ball there. But he really kind of disappears throughout games, right? You're not seeing him in the build-up play, connecting passes, right? Doing some of those aspects that we've seen maybe not the best example right now, but a Sarger or some of those other players, right, that the U.S. has. But just whether it's the end of the games or in this case early on, he just a few touches is all he really needs, right? Service into the box doesn't have to be quality, but he just finds a way to put the ball in the back of the net, which is really important. That's what we need for these qualifiers. So really curious to see. Again, maybe not my preferred starter yet. I wouldn't hate it if he started, but I still see him as 80, 85th minute come in and just perform some heroics for us for the national team.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, seeing more of him this camp, in particular, whether it's in that role, like you said, where he comes on at the end of games, which, he's been kind of tasked with doing recently, or just, getting more starts, right? Like Ricardo Pepi looked good in his minutes. He still, looks really like he's playing very well for FC Dallas over the past few games. So, excited to hopefully see him back in camp. Like, I think he's a no-brainer call up. This weekend we also had two other strikers score goals in Jossie Zardes and Daryl DK. So Greg Berhalter is going to have a lot of options, and he's going to have to make a very tough decision, in my opinion, because I think Pefok again is in the best form out of all our strikers. Again, Ricardo Pepi's great, right? Daryl DK is another player we want to see more minutes to. Jossie Zardes has been reliable, which I hate to say that, right? Like he's been a constant over the past few years in terms of strikers that have scored goals for us. And then you got Josh Sargent, which it's not really working out for him right now. So I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting. And I think having Pefok in such good form, and giving us that poacher, like you said, someone that scores goals for his club, finds those positions, could be a really valuable asset for the USMNT going forward.
Yeah, and I was just going to quickly add, right? I guess you could argue, right? Maybe some of the teams in the Swiss league aren't that great, but he's, again, the Manchester United, they're in Champions League. Obviously, with Basel there,
it's a good team.
Yeah, it's a very good team, Austin. And I didn't even realize I totally forgot that Wagner was the coach.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Jeez. It's hilarious. So I just want to quickly add again. I guess you could make that like level, to MLS or some other leagues. But again, he is playing in the highest European competition too, and putting the ball in across all competitions. And if he keeps his form up, I mean, the door's open.
Sky's the limit, right?
Sky's the limit.
That's the hope, at least. Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on him this week. I think they have a Champions League game midweek, in addition to a Swiss League game at the weekend. So hopefully to see him score some more goals, help his team out, in any other way he can. Now we're going to move over to Germany and talk about Chris Richards. And Pat, Chris Richards has had a great start to life at Hoffenheim, and I should say, take two at Hoffenheim, right? Because he was there last year in the spring. And, this weekend he actually started for them, played 90 minutes, and also picked up an assist in their 3-1 win. So the assist came off a deflection off a corner. And it was really just, Chris getting into a good position, being alert, directing the ball, back into play, and kind of, helping his teammate really capitalize on a great situation in the box off a set piece. And this is Chris's third game for Hoffenheim, this period with them. He's really looked good in all three games he's played for them. They've actually picked up 4 points in those 3 games, which is pretty good for Hoffenheim. So far so good. I guess I should say, Pat. Things are really going to plan. And I think in this game, Chris looked very confident. I just think he's such a composed player, right, Pat? Like, he's someone who likes to, have the ball at his feet at the back, make a lot of really insightful passes. And then also just, capitalize on positions where he's tasked with, going and seeking out danger and snuffing it out, so to speak. And that was really on display in this game. Did a really good job of being alert, getting back when he needed to. And then also, like I said, making some insightful passes, helping his team, capitalize on some situations where they can, get the defense off balance. And I'm just really excited to see, more of him in the Bundesliga. It's crazy to me that he's walked right into Hoffenheim and just has literally been their best defender in these last 3 games. And I know it's a small sample size, but it's just, so impressive to me.
Yeah, that take 2, right, Austin? I mean, they want him back to that. And such a great move for him, especially during this time, right, with the qualifying and everything coming up. He is, I think you brought up some great points, right? Just the way his intelligence and being able to, his vision on the field and see things before it happens, right? Being in the right place, sensing the danger, but also being calm and composed, right? Something that you really don't see until maybe center backs are quite a few years older, right? A little bit mature. So that maturity in his game, and like you said, just easing his way back in to, it's not a bottom league team. Hoffenheim's a very respectable and reputable club there in Germany. So it's fantastic to see Richards slot in right away, back like, he's just part of the team, not on loan, and hopefully he continues the momentum here, Austin, because he is going to be a crucial part of the U.S. going forward.
Yeah. And I honestly think, like, when you look at our center backs right now, right? Like last camp we played, we had Mark McKenzie on the field for a game. We had John Brooks as our, primary center back with Miles Robinson. We had Walker Zimmerman in camp last time, James Sands. There's no doubt in my mind that Chris Richards should be part of this group. And I really think he's going to be called up in October. And I think just based on merit and kind of where he's at in his career, he's literally like second or third on our list right now. And I really think, he's going to get an opportunity here in the next few months to kind of prove that he deserves to start for the USMNT. And Pat, I honestly think he's going to run with it. He just has so many qualities we look for, in a center back. And he's also off the field, right? He's a very personable character, someone who has a lot of confidence when you hear him in interviews and just the path he's taken, right? Going over to Bayern, really breaking into their first team there, getting some minutes under his belt, right? In Champions League, for a team that won, the Champions League. That's pretty impressive. So I just think, all that together just really makes him a really good candidate to be a USMNT player and also start for our team going forward.
Yeah, especially kind of that present and future. And also maybe a bold prediction, but I would not be surprised depending on the rotation and things. And like you said, I easily, one of the top 3 or 4 there. And, how he gets inserted into camp, time gets going here. I would love to see him start a game. Obviously, I don't think he'll start the Jamaica game if he gets called in, but I wouldn't be surprised with some rotation. And things are looking good there in camp. How could you not if he continues to form in the path that he's gone? Obviously, I think he's better than a lot of those names that you kind of just listed.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting to see him this weekend because, Hoffenheim beat Wolfsburg, and you saw him interact with John Brooks after the game.
Yeah.
And honestly, the way he interacted with John, and obviously, they won on the day, so he was definitely in better spirits. You couldn't tell who was the 10-year Bundesliga veteran and who is, just the young lad kind of starting out. It was really interesting to see. Chris Richards just has this presence to him that a lot of veteran players have. And again, I just think it's something that makes him special and really makes him a player to rely on for the future, because he feels like he deserves to be there, which, I think he plays like he deserves to be there. And, it's almost that mentality thing, right? That coaches call out for Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Tyler Adams, players like that. They just have this extra part to their mentality.
Right.
And I think Chris Richards, truly demonstrates that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe something that some players just don't have, and maybe something that you might just be born with. But again, I'm no sports psychologist or anything like that, but I completely agree. So staying kind of on the defensive side of things, right? A player that really needed a boost here and definitely got it this weekend, right? With Serginho Dest and Barcelona, definitely needed a boost.
Yeah.
Not up to their usual standards there, but huge transition. And Dest started this past weekend in a 3-0 win against Levante, the ghost of Shaq Moore's club there, you could say, his old club. But Dest in this game started left back, which is kind of interesting, obviously, with Jordi Alba, right, recovering from the hamstring injury a few weeks back, and then Magenza playing at the right with Balde out. So that's kind of intriguing there. And he played fantastic, arguably his best game of the season. You don't even really have to argue that, honestly. But just some of the moments, right? I think early on, the 13th minute, had an assist to Luke de Jong to make it 2-0. It was a great dribble forward, beating some players, nice angled ball on the ground, a through pass there with great vision, along with other highlight reels, you could say, right? Splitting defenders, just looking so confident on the ball, attacking. So, some of the stats I wanted to mention there quickly also, 99 touches, which is a lot, right? It's Barcelona. Kind of get some touches there. 3 key passes, and most importantly, I think, kind of 11 of 16 duels won. Now, it is against the regulation team, right? But to see him, not only we know how he is going forward, but seeing that stat line in some of the duels and defending side of things and those aspects, obviously can build upon and improve from this. But definitely great to see, some of the focuses, that he's working on there in training and such. So really great to see both sides of the ball, Austin, that Dest is really improving on.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for him coming away from, the start he had at Barcelona this season to, the games he played in for the USMNT, it was just regaining that confidence, right? And you saw Serginho in this game really take it upon himself to create for players. And he was having a fun time on the pitch. That was the biggest takeaway, for me from this game. And I love it, right? That's why we love Serginho Dest, is because he can do all this, these crazy tricks, crazy flair. And when it comes off, it looks fantastic. And he's a really talented player when he's confident. So you saw him confident in this game. Really hope it obviously carries, into the next few games. And it was just good to see him back, having fun on the pitch again. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely a player, right? That just needs to feel that confidence, right? Get that boost, especially some tough times, right? You saw against El Salvador and during some of those qualifiers, right? But really good to see him, healthy, continue this momentum, especially with this early October window coming up for us. He's going to be very pivotal. And again, kind of intriguing, right? On the left side, he was cutting in a lot, some combinations there and creating some shots there and chances, and obviously the assists, right? So intriguing to see him perform so well at that left back spot for Barcelona. But kind of intriguing moving forward. They're in a weird time, right? Fati's back. He looked amazing, but this is pretty much like a U21, U22 team, right? A lot of young guys. The Messi area, a lot of those players are trickling out. Jordi Alba's getting a little bit older, a little bit more injuries, coming his way in the past. And it's a huge transition, right? Curious to see what happens, right, with Koeman there and where they go. But obviously it's going to be tough to compete with Madrid going forward. And I just hope that Dest continues to put in great performances, right, and show his value. So he's part of this strong transition, back to the Barca that, everybody really knows.
Yeah, and this summer, Barca actually got rid of Emerson Royale, a player that they brought back from loan.
Swift and brutal, Austin.
Yeah, and they really gave him a chance to kind of, cement his place in the starting lineup over the summer. And, it seemed like Serginho Dest was just, too good for him. And they sold him on to, I believe it was Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
They went to. So, I think he's definitely going to be their right back for the future. And that's exciting, right? But it's that team's got to build and kind of get back to where they were, because they've definitely fallen a little bit. And it happens when you lose the best player in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucks to say, but so really, really positive from Serginho Dest, and another player we're gonna keep our eyes on. Fingers crossed, no injuries, right, before the international window, and hopefully he'll kill it again next weekend. So now to move over to France, we're going to talk a little bit about Tim Weah. And boy, Pat, did Tim Weah have a really exciting game this weekend. And, he came back from injury a few weeks ago, has really gotten more minutes these past few weeks, and has really been given a lot of opportunities. And in this game, he just really stepped up and took advantage of it. So played all 90 minutes, actually had an assist for them, and that was a great assist basically off of him, out hustling a player, really pushing a player back into his own box, taking the ball away from him, and then squaring it to a teammate for the finish. And again, it just showed that hustle that Tim Weah has, and something that, we really love him for, right? He scored a lot of these goals and has provided assists for players based on that hustle that he demonstrates. And this was just another example of it. Later in the game, he also got, a little bloodied and battered, right? There are some images of it circulating, social media over the weekend, and was able to continue. Got to give it to him, right? His jersey was so bloodied, his face was even bloody too.
Crazy.
And I'm not sure exactly, what got cut on him. I want to say it was, an eyelid or, an eyebrow, something like that. But just pouring blood and really looked like a true warrior out there on the pitch. And later in the game, after that happened, he actually drew a penalty. So, got back on the pitch, got back into the game, and really created, again, another good opportunity that his team actually scored off of as well. So all in all, I think some outlets had him as man of the match, Some had Jonathan David. So overall, a really positive performance from him. And again, someone that, Pat, has kind of, been on and off the radar, right? For us USMNT fans, obviously he's had a lot of injury issues over the past few years. So it's really been tough to kind of rely on Tim Weah to be there and be that, player we all know he can be. And that sucks to say, but it looks like he's back, finally healthy again, in good form, and really capitalizing on the opportunity he has at Lille.
Yeah, please. I'm knocking on some more wood. Just give me a few more weeks, right? Give us a few weeks.
Exactly.
Get him to the qualifiers. But yeah, awesome. Just the physicality and his hustle, right? Another player that just has really, his story is quite amazing, and we've covered right through his devastating injuries and just the road to recovery, multiple relapses and things like that, right? With injuries, and to just come out and have this amazing mindset, right? And this mentality and grit is so important. Love to see this too, his physicality. Obviously, he's an intelligent player, right? And very technical, but that aggression, right? Bodying people off, I think could be very beneficial in the CONCACAF qualifiers. Austin, he has kind of those tools and tangibles to really thrive and succeed in some of those environments. And obviously, he has built relationships with the past camps and things like that. So definitely really crucial player that's coming to form, which is great for club and country.
Yeah, and what we know about Tim Weah is he's someone that loves to get in behind players, right? He loves to make those runs. He loves to use his pace to really just blow by people. And in this game, it was really the opposite of that. He was someone that played more of a support striker for Jonathan David and was really just
Great
tasked
combination,
with.
Austin.
Yeah, exactly. He was really tasked with providing that combination with Jonathan, being the outlet basically from midfield to attack, and was actually winning some headers off of, goal kicks and really trying to, be that support player rather than, a player that's just trying to get forward and really bomb forward and attack like he normally does and is really good at. So it was just really interesting to me because I haven't seen too much of that side of Tim Weah. We know he's someone that likes to set up players and provide. He's someone that takes joy in passing the ball and getting in good positions to set up his teammates. But this was a little bit different than that, in the sense that he was really, playing further back on the pitch and just really taking it upon himself to connect play more than I've seen him usually do in the past. So really exciting. And Pat, honestly, with the injuries we have right now, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities to think that Tim Weah is going to be, one of our starting attackers for 1, 2, maybe all 3 of these games coming up in October.
It's a very good point. I mean, with Reina, right? Unfortunate, and really hope he recovers, continues to recover there and gets healthy. But he would be great, very dynamic, right? On the other side, maybe you have Aronson bombing in, right? And again, depending, with Pulisic things, right? Having someone like Timo, our boy, really, wreaking havoc, right? Creating some of those chances. And I think something you brought up earlier, right? Versatility. I think that's something he's really just evolving as he continues to progress as a player, and hopefully becomes even more versatile because obviously the Greg tinkering, right? He can be utilized in different, formations and areas and can really, link play and combine, but like you said, unlock defenses, make those runs behind to open space for others and assists. So many great tools and tangibles, like I said before, that can offer to the national team.
Yeah, I can't say it any better. Honestly, I really agree with you, and I think, being out on the wing or playing as a striker, I don't know. I like him playing out on the wing a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think he's got qualities that could lead him to, play well in both positions, especially if we do like a 5-3-2 again with him as that support striker. I think there's a lot of merit, to that position for him as well. So, excited to see him again, hopefully staying healthy and in camp. That's going to be the biggest thing for him. And we're looking forward to it. So today, Pat, we want to finish on a player that we've heard a transfer rumor about, and this was something that came out earlier today. We're filming on a Monday here, and that's Ricardo Pepi potentially going to Ajax. So want to pitch it to you, Pat. Obviously, we'll go a little bit more in depth with it and why this move may or may not make sense. But, first hearing this, Pat, what was your thoughts, and do you think this is a good move for Ricardo Pepi?
Love it, love it, love it. How many times can I say it, Austin? Obviously, you had Milan link, right? Juventus thrown in the mix, some other Serie A teams, Bayern, but Ajax is just an incredible place to develop, especially in his position, right? So many legendary players have come through, and just seems like a perfect environment, perfect league for him to transition over and get some crucial minutes in game time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I guess we should have led too that this rumor comes off of Ajax scouts actually being in attendance at
That's
a at an
right.
FC Dallas game this past weekend, and it was confirmed that they were there to watch Ricardo Pepi. So I do think, and again, I just want to give this little disclaimer, Pat, that this is something that is very possible to happen in the future. And there's a reported fee of maybe over 10 million, for this deal. So very interesting as well. But yeah, I really love it, Pat. Those other teams, like you said, maybe, there was some merit to them and like thinking about Bayern, right? Like Ricardo Pepi's trained there a few times. They actually gave minutes to Chris Richards, who I think, Ricardo Pepi potentially is a little bit further along with in his career than Chris Richards was when he got minutes there. Obviously at two different positions, but I don't think it would have been out of the realm of possibility to, see him go to Bayern and actually play for Bayern.
Train under Lewa a little bit more.
Yeah, training with Lewandowski day in and day out. I mean, you got to pick up some things from him if that's the case. So that would have been cool. AC Milan, really historic team, back in Champions League, but definitely not the most consistent. So
Still a
take it
mess.
for what it's worth. Yeah, and then you have some other players or some other teams that you mentioned too. This was the one team, Pat, that really just, we had Serginho Dest there, right? And we've had some other players like Alex Mendez in the past, Josh Pinadath, who actually
Oh, that's
sounds
right.
like has reemerged at Chelsea, which is really interesting, and not even sure how to take that. But it's always been a team that's built players, right? It's a team that's taken young players and molded them into better versions of themselves. And I think that's true even for players where it didn't necessarily work out, like Alex Mendez. I think he was a better player for going to Ajax and going through that process and training with them and learning some things there. So I really love the move. I think it's a great level for him to go to as well right now. He's really just dominated MLS this season. As well as you can for a player of his age. And I think he's ready for that next step. And I think, playing in the Eredivisie, a team or a league that really prioritizes attacking play, free flowing attack, I think it really just is a slam dunk or, a home run of a move, so to speak. I just love
Perfect
it.
analogies. I couldn't agree more, Austin. I mean, the stars align there. That would be fantastic. The timing of everything. Obviously, the stock's on the rise, and it's great to see potentially those scouts there and the rumors going. And again, not to harp on the other clubs, right? But it just seems like this is the most ideal fit. Tactically, getting more minutes right under his belt, and a great kind of place to develop in a stepping stone where maybe he will end up, at a bigger team down the line. But obviously, Ajax is big, but kind of. Again, I don't want to maybe compare it directly, right? Obviously, some differences to like a Salzburg, right, and Austria, but somewhere where you just hear some of these clubs, right? Where are some of the Suarez and
Zlatan.
that's right, Zlatan. I'm blanking on
Yeah.
names, but and other players like where do you hear all these players come from? There's a few clubs right that come to mind that really develop well, and Ajax is definitely one of them at the top.
Yeah, they have some really good players right now, and even some really good players at striker. So Sebastian Haller, player who played for West Ham, also played in the Bundesliga. I think I want to say for Frankfurt, maybe. Now I'm starting to go a little fuzzy in my memory. But he's been around. He's played at several different places and has been really productive wherever he's gone. And this year he's actually started off with 5 goals in 7 games. So clearly, he's like their undisputed striker right now. They also have 2 other young attackers who play striker. So Danilo, a younger player from Brazil, and then also Mohamed Darami from Copenhagen, a Danish player that also has a really big rep and someone that is on the rise and is a really good prospect as well. So going to Ajax, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for him. I think it's really going to be, him battling for playing time and proving that he needs to start over other players that also have a lot of, really good talent and are thought of as really bright prospects. So it could be a very, great place for him to learn a lot of skills and things like that. But it could also be a really good motivational place for him to really just, put it all out on the table and see where he lies, amongst some really good other talents.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm very curious to see the timeline and the time frame of everything, right? With Dallas and when the potential moves would be.
Yeah.
Some rumors along with, Dallas wants them another year. Obviously, I personally don't want to see that, but just kind of curious with the timeline sense of things as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because Brian Reynolds, in retrospect, might have moved a little early. I don't know. I think you got to take advantage of whatever opportunity arises, and I think that Rome opportunity was, a really good move and something that allowed him to have a base to kind of build off of. And obviously, it hasn't gone, the way he expected it, but who's to say that if he stayed at FC Dallas another year, things would have worked out,
It could be the
even
same
better.
spot, right? But just a year or two later,
True.
So
True.
I think
And you got the same, and you got the same situation happening for Justin Che right now that's happening for Ricardo Pepi and even maybe Jesus Ferreira, right? Like, are they going to move this winter? Are they going to wait another year? Are they going to wait for next summer? What makes the most sense for them? And, for me, I think Ricardo Pepi has proven, he can do it in MLS. I think if there's an opportunity like this in the winter for him, then I think he should really take it and run with it. So that's all for our episode today, or for this part of our episode today. Now let's head over to Quick Kicks.
All right, yeah, fans, yeah, viewers, even Austin, right? I think you all know what time it is. It's none other than Quick Kicks.
So to start off Quick Kicks today on a somber note, we're going to go over to Germany and talk about Tyler Adams. So Tyler missed Leipzig's most recent game due to a muscle injury, and we haven't been really provided with any other updates. So hoping to hear some more this week and hope to see Tyler back on the pitch very soon.
Yeah, a little very concerning, Austin. But heading over to the English Championship with Anthony Robinson, Fulham. Anthony started and played the full 90 in a 1-1 draw against Bristol City.
And staying in England, going up to the Premier League, we have Josh Sargent, who started and played 90 minutes for Norwich City in their 2-0 loss to Everton.
And heading to Spain, España, with Yunus Musa, who started this past weekend and played 83 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Atletico Bilbao.
And going to Austria, we have Brendan Aronson, who started and played 89 minutes for Salzburg in their 2-0 win.
And Gianluca Busio over at Venezia are really getting some great game time. He started and played 86 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Torino. And then even the past midweek, he started and played the full 90 in a tough 2-0 loss to Milan.
Going over to Germany, we have Joe Scally, who's really started the season off hot and actually started and played 90 minutes for Gladbach in their big 1-0 upset win over Dortmund. So Joe looked great in this game. Again, really just doing so well to start his Bundesliga career. It's been impressive.
Yeah, hopefully when Rain is healthy, we can see round two going at each other. That'd be pretty fun to see in competition. But heading over to Italy with Juventus and Weston McKennie, came on as substitute in the last 8 minutes there in a 3-2 win against Sampdoria. And then, again, the past midweek game, right? Started and played the full 90 in a 3-2 win against Spezia.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he gets called up for October. I don't know. We need him, but does Greg make a statement? I don't know. We'll find out soon. And, going back over to Spain, we have Matt Hoppe, who started and played 59 minutes and also had an assist for Mallorca in their 6-1 loss to Real Madrid. So great little, assist there, little square ball.
Yeah. Tough scoreline, but definitely great square ball there. But our Scottish Yankee with Cameron Carter-Vickers right over at Celtic started and played the full 90 in a 1-1 draw against Hearts Dundee United.
And we got a pro video editor here, Luca De La Torre, started and played 90 minutes for Heracles in their 1-0 win. So what I'm referencing is him posting, a highlight video basically this week, potentially showcasing his abilities and what he can do. So definitely a player kind of in that fold, right, or in the fringe for the USMNT. So we'll see if he gets called up soon.
Man of many talents, Austin. But heading over to France with Marseille and Cana del Fuente. It came at 45 minutes as a substitute there, right? And a tough 3-2 loss against Lens. And then the previous game midweek came on the last 31 minutes in a 0-0 draw.
And heading over to Belgium, we have Mark McKenzie, who started and played 90 minutes for Genk in their 3-0 win. And Mark's been playing really well recently, so good to see.
And ending with Taylor Booth, Austin, and Bayern 2, where he started and played the full 90 in a dominant 3-1 win.
So that's it for our video today, guys. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel down below.
And don't forget to check out, right? Shouldn't have to remind you. I'm sure you guys already do, right? But check out Instagram, Twitter, all the social media content that we're putting out, especially with all the rumors running and the stat padding by our players.
That's right. We also got, our merch store live right now. So make sure to click the link down below. You could get one of these nifty little shirts, and rep us, rep YAA. And we appreciate you, for it and appreciate the support. So, with that being said, Pat, one more week, right? We've got European games midweek. We also have, league play at the weekend before we play again 3 more crucial World Cup qualifiers. So big week, maybe even a roster release too this week. That's what we're planning at least. So maybe another live show.
Yeah, that's right. Stay tuned for that. We're going to keep the live shows coming, with roster release and then obviously the qualifiers, right? But yeah, Austin, a lot to build upon. And this was a crucial past weekend, right? And past few weeks where these players are performing at a high level, right? We're seeing some goals. Some other players really step up. They want to be a part of this movement, right? And, hopefully someday, make it to the top.
That's right, because one day we will win the World Cup.